Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Ball with Health Bits. This is a Health Matters podcast of Health Bits. As you see in the title there, Life in the Fast Lane. So on prior podcasts, we talked about ways to extend longevity, especially amongst Black and brown people. We're at the bottom with regard to life expectancy, and there are ways we can move on up to the top. There are ways we can do it with just a matter of commitment. And so the first thing I wanted to discuss and talk to you all about, and hopefully at some point tonight be able to enjoy blessing someone with a financial gift, providing they're able to name the lyrics, or not the lyrics, but the title of a song, and then sing a verse or two. But before we get there, I want to talk about life in the fast lane, benefits of fasting. So fasting, when we think of that, there's a myriad of benefits, how it can benefit your mind, benefit your emotions, benefit your body, and on and on. And I'll go into those different ways, specifically how your mind is benefited by fasting, how it's your own natural detox, even at the cellular level, how your body benefits, and emotionally how you can benefit from fasting. Fasting has been around. There is documents as early as 5 BC. Hippocrates, when dealing with the health of people, recommended that they fast regularly to maintain health and wellness. And when a person was recovering from a disease, he also at that time recommended fasting. So fasting goes back way back, even before that time. You can look at biblical history where oftentimes the people were told to fast. Unfortunately, because of the biblical connotation, most of the time when we talk about fasting, someone is closed-minded into only seeing it from a religious perspective. And so therefore, they will say, I'm not a religious person, or I don't go to church, or so it doesn't apply to me, or I'm a spiritual person. Fasting is more religious, it's all those rituals. I'm not about that. Well, I'm not about that either. But medically speaking, there is some positive spiritual benefits from fasting as well. So we got Hippocrates, we got Bible, we got all this data where we see fasting and fast used in history. In fact, every morning we wake up to eat breakfast, we are breaking a fast, because unless you're eating in your sleep, if you slept 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours, that was a period of fasting. And on that note, when we talk about fasting, what is it that you think? What is your understanding of fasting? There is fasting as in intermittent fasting. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is when a person has periods throughout a 24-hour period that they're not eating. They don't eat for 12 hours, or they don't eat for 16 hours, or they don't eat for 18 hours. And then for some, for 20 hours out of a 24-hour day, they're not eating. And there's a 4-hour window somewhere in there where they have their only meal. You can still reap the benefits of fasting that way. And then there's something called a prolonged fast. And prolonged fast is basically any fast beyond 48 hours. And the reason why that's called prolonged fast is because it's at that 48-hour window where you begin to deplete your glycogen stores, or for lack of a better word, your body has different fuel preferences, and sugar or carbohydrates is the cheapest fuel, the easiest, to break down and generate energy, so it prefers that. In a prolonged fast, you pretty much deplete all of your glucose, and now it's time to generate fuel in another way. That's prolonged fasting. Either way, you're going to reap the benefits of fasting. Some of those benefits, and like I said, I'll go into it further later, but it's amazing how naturally the body does that, how the body naturally restores itself during that period of fasting. At the cellular level, cleaning up debris of old cells and things like that, and just totally detoxing itself from cellular particles that is doing the body no good. Fasting also has told to have benefits as far as anti-cancer, decreasing the risk of cancer due to some of the things it does called autophagy, cleaning up dead cell debris and getting rid of it or recycling it into usable material. A lot of times when we talk about fasting, we talk about starving. How many times have you heard somebody say, man, I'm starving? Well, time to put you on notice here. Starvation literally is when you have fasted for such a long time that you have completely not only depleted all of your glycogen stores, sugar, not only have you completed all of your fat stores, but you're on your way to stripping your body's muscle to turn it into fuel. By definition, that's starvation. When you have no more sugar to burn, you have no more fat to burn. That is starvation. So, with nearly 60% of the world being obese, is starvation a word we should really just throw around? Because the person who is really starving may get offended at a 5'9", 220-pound man who missed a couple of meals and has a body fat percentage of 35 saying, I'm starving. So perhaps when we say it, we mean it's synonymous with being hungry, and we're kind of using a hyperbole to describe the extent of our hunger. That's what I would rather believe, because starving, you can go to some of the remote places of the world and you'll see someone truly starving, where you see muscle wasting and their face looks like a living skeleton. For most of us living in this epidemic of obesity, we're not starving, never have been starving. We're just hungry. And oftentimes we eat to a surplus, or how else would obesity be so prevalent? So on that note about fasting and starvation, you might ask, so why start off a subject about life in the fast lane under a bigger umbrella of longevity and starting off with a subject of fasting? Well, I'll tell you, fasting, when you think about it, requires no weights, no dumbbells, no mats, no gym membership, no monthly fee, no car, no partner to motivate you. Fasting requires nothing but a dedicated and a committed soul. Why start with fasting? Because fasting literally is a gut check of just how serious you are about being the best you can be with regard to health and wellness. It's literally a gut check, because if you think about it, I don't need a gym membership, I don't need weights, I don't need mats, I don't need bands, I don't need a partner to spot me, I don't need a partner to motivate me, I don't need money to pay, I don't need a car to get there. All I need to do is make a decision and act upon it. And in doing that, you will have put yourself in a position, because I believe fasting is somewhat of a barometer of your longitude and your latitude as far as just how far you can go to being you 2.0. Fasting is that longitude and latitude, because basically, if I can do this, if I can literally beat my body into submission to not eat for 48 hours, with temptations to eat all around me. Family eating, go to work, folk eating, commercials eating. I'm thinking about eating and not eat. You basically have trained your body to withstand distractions, temptations, procrastination, setbacks when it comes to a goal or a focus at hand. So when you're able to do that, then going to the gym will be easy. Eating certain meals will be easy because you've already shown that you can go without eating at all. And so now all of a sudden you can be more selective in what you eat. Now all of a sudden you can put your mind to whatever exercise routine you want to carry out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and do it, because fasting kind of set the precedence of that. And it brings me to an interesting thought that comes to my mind as I think about fasting or challenging a person to fast is you think you want something until somebody challenges you on how bad you want it. Like I said, fasting is a gut check. There is a young, rich leader in the Bible. He's described as a rich young ruler. So he's a young leader and he lived a good life. He lived the right life, but he wanted a better version of himself. He wanted to improve on himself. He wanted to be even better than he felt he already was. He said, I do good things. I obey the word. I don't violate, try not to sin too much. I'm a pretty good person. And the master, Jesus said, okay, go sell all that you have. Then come back and holler at your boy. We're told that he put his head down and walked away sad because he realized at that point that no matter how bad I thought I wanted, I didn't want it that bad. And it's kind of like that with us. You mentioned somebody says, I'm tired of this weight, or I'm tired of being out of shape, or I want to get healthy. They just diagnosed me with diabetes. They just diagnosed me with this. Mama died of this, and daddy died of this, and cousin has this. I'm tired. I want to do something different. And you sit down and you say, the first thing I need you to do is fast. The first thing that crosses their mind is, so no pork chop, no steak, no chicken, no peach cobbler. Man, please, I ain't got time for this. And they get up and go. So that's why I want to start with fasting, because it is the gut check. It is the challenge. It is the measuring rod of commitment. We'll start there and we'll continue to go forward from there. Now, I promise something and I'll stick to it and we'll see what comes of it. I know it's a bold stance for somebody to have to do what I'm challenging to do, but I'm going to challenge anyhow. So let's see what we got here. We don't have any comments, but let's see if we have anybody that's going to dive in here. I'm going to talk about music too, because music has its own place in health and wellness also. It's calming, the right music. It's soothing, it's relaxing. It kind of turns off that part of our brain that triggers for fight or flight. Studies have been shown that music will calm that on down. So anyone know that one? Let's see what we got. Well, 5 minutes, I think, is long enough to see if anybody wants to jump to the mic and join me on into the show. So next time we're going to talk about these specific benefits that I mentioned that comes with fasting. And there are lots of them. So again, as I said before, you have been listening to Health Matters, a podcast of health bits with Dr. Ball, which is my YouTube channel, where you come to listen and you stay to be heard.